Hey, I'm Brian, and Apple just held their annual special event where they announced all of their new iPhone 12 models as well as a new HomePod. So in this video I'm going to recap everything that was announced, tell you my thoughts, and why I think that the iPhone 12 mini is the most interesting iPhone in a while. Let's go! Of course, as we came to know from these pre-recorded Apple events, the CGI in this one was awesome. But I think you're much more interested in what was actually announced at this event, and the first thing was Apple's new HomePod Mini. It's a much smaller and cheaper version of the HomePod, and it's ball-shaped but has the same display up top as the regular HomePod. The speaker setup is very similar to Amazon's old Echo speakers, with one singular speaker that fires down in the middle and only passive radiators on the sides. But what I find really cool is the new handoff feature, where you can just hold a very recent iPhone with Apple's new U1 chip next to the HomePod Mini, and will seamlessly transition the music from the iPhone speaker to the HomePod Mini, just because it knows that the iPhone is next to the speaker. I think that's a really nice feature. And the HomePod Mini also supports intercom, which is very similar to what Google does with their Google Home speakers, but the difference is that it also works with iPhones and even with AirPods, so your kids might be a bit annoyed if you just interrupt their Netflix session that they're listening to with AirPods. And the HomePod Mini is available for $99 in the US and €99 in Europe, which I think is a pretty nice price. And as this was a very fast-paced event, after the HomePod Mini they went right away to the iPhone 12. And the main selling point of all of the new iPhone 12 models this year is 5G. As I already said in some other videos where I reviewed Android phones that already feature 5G, it's more and more becoming a feature that you can actually look for in a phone because coverage is getting much better, but it's not something that you should base your purchase decision on alone. And millimeter wave is only coming to the US, all of the iPhones in other markets won't have millimeter wave capabilities. A big difference from the iPhone 11 to the iPhone 12 is the new display, because the iPhone 12 now features an OLED display, the same Super Retina XDR display as the iPhone 12 Pro. And that's really going to make a big difference, and it's going to make the display experience on the regular iPhone much better. And it also comes with the smaller bezels, just like the Pro models. And of course the iPhone 12 also features Apple's new A14 Bionic chip that we already saw in the iPad Air. In terms of the cameras, nothing really changed from last year. You still have the same regular and wide-angle cameras on the back, but you can now use night mode on all of the cameras, including the front-facing camera, which I think is pretty cool. And the new iPhone also features the new MagSafe charging that we already saw in the leaks. That means it has a ring of magnets around the wireless charging coil on the back, so you can just stick the new magnetic wireless charger on the back, or even accessories like cases and credit card holders that Apple also announced. And if you're wondering how Apple is going to kill the port on the next iPhone, I think MagSafe is the answer. And what's also important is that yes, there's not going to be a power brick in the box. Moving on to the iPhone 12 Pro, the only real difference to the regular iPhone 12 is that you have the third telephoto camera on the back. It's now 2.5x on the Pro Max, but it's still just 2x on the regular 12. And of course there's also that LiDAR scanner on the back. But with the regular version now having the OLED display and the only differences really being the telephoto camera and LiDAR scanner, I don't think there's any point in going with the Pro models this year. So yes, it's true, there's no 120Hz on the Pro iPhones this year. But let's finally talk about the iPhone 12 mini, which I think is the most interesting iPhone of the bunch. That's because it's basically the same as the regular iPhone 12, just in a much smaller form factor with a 5.4-inch display instead of a 6.1-inch display. That means that it's actually physically smaller than the iPhone SE, but has a bigger screen. And I think the iPhone 12 mini is gonna sell really well and be one of the best-selling iPhones in a while. And that mainly comes down to two reasons. And the first reason is of course size. People have been wanting a small iPhone for a while, but the iPhone SE didn't really deliver that, because yes, it was a smaller iPhone, but it was also cut down in a lot of ways from the normal iPhones. The iPhone 12 mini is even smaller than the iPhone SE, but still offers that full screen design with an OLED display, Face ID, and those great cameras. It's a small iPhone, but it doesn't have any compromises like the iPhone SE. So I think it's going to be a really great upgrade for all of those people that have been holding out for a new iPhone because they wanted to stick to their smaller form factor, but also didn't want to go with the SE because it didn't really offer a compelling enough upgrade. And the second reason is that new design. The iPhone 12 series now features a new boxy design just like the iPhone 12 Pro, which we already suspected from the leaks, and I think that it looks really sharp. And this new boxy form factor that I personally think looks really nice is basically the first major redesign since the iPhone 6, when Apple introduced the rounded design with their new iPhones, but at least since the iPhone 10. It's something fresh, and I think that will make people upgrade. Heck, people even upgrade for new colors, and the iPhone 12 has those too, with a nice new green and dark blue. What I think is a bit of a bummer is that the iPhone 12 mini is going to be delayed along with the iPhone 12 Pro Max. That means that you're only going to be able to pre-order it starting November 6th and not October 16th like the regular iPhone 12 and 12 Pro. And the iPhone 12 mini is also not less expensive as we thought from the leaks. It's actually the same price as the iPhone 11 last year, which means that the iPhone 12 is actually $100 or euros more expensive than the iPhone 11 for the same screen size. I think this pricing strategy is a bit unfortunate because it actually means that the iPhones basically got more expensive this year, but I think it does make sense that Apple would delay the 12 Pro Max and the 12 Mini out of all of the models that they did announce, because these are the most interesting models, so it makes sense that you want to get the ones that are not as interesting out earlier to also sell those. But because of this, my videos on the iPhone 12 will be a bit late because I'm definitely going to go for that iPhone 12 mini, which is going to be a smaller iPhone with an OLED display, and I think that's going to be a hit. If you enjoyed this video, you know which buttons to press. Don't forget to press that follow button on Twitter, and don't forget your mask when you leave the house. I'm Brian, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.